Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson. This is 5 things, maybe it should have been 6, that we learned watching Manchester United destroy Roma in the semi-final of the Europa League last night. It was glorious. In at number 1 then, more history for Solskjaer. I think it was pretty baffling how United afforded themselves going in at the break 2-1 down against a pretty below par Roma side. We had a few opportunities, and it just seemed like stupid mistakes that allowed them in the game. But that's football, isn't it? That's what happens when you just get the rub of the green. Sometimes someone switches off. It felt like United were still well in it, despite the first one was a penalty, a little bit harsh. Second one, you're like, the away goals was a factor that was in my head. I was thinking, it's rough this, but I still think United are going to get into this. I still thought we were going to win the game, even at 2-1. But I thought it was going to be a big ask. And in it we were. United's second half performances, the 5 goals that we scored in the second half, we absolutely steamrolled Chris Smalling. He's probably going to need therapy on the back end of that. The rest of the Roma defence as well. Perhaps one of the most impressive 45 minutes of football from Manchester United. Some excellent off-the-ball movements, some quality in possession, really working for each other as a team. United are the first team to score 6 goals in a major semi-final since Real Madrid did it 57 years ago in the 1963-64 European Cup. We've been breaking all sorts of records, achieving all sorts of different feats under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Last night was one of the most memorable so far, and I think this is something that needs saying. This Manchester United side in particular, have scored 5+ goals 9 times. 9 times under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The 3 managers before him managed it twice. One of those was David Moyes. This is frankly ridiculous. When Manchester United at the moment, under this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer regime, get going, we can really start snottering teams. It was something I saw from Guardiola's Manchester City. And I was like, we don't do that. We can beat teams, but we don't snotter teams. This season, we've learned how to snotter teams, and we're still nowhere near the finished article. Scary. Number 2, classic Cavani. Oh my God, I'm in love with this dude. I wish we'd have signed him 10 years ago. I think he's even better for us than Zlatan. I think he's been absolutely sensational. Every game that passes, it becomes more and more crucial to the way Manchester United play. And this tie was all about Edinson Cavani. This game was all about Edinson Cavani. And I think it's crucial that United now sit down and go, listen, pal, what do you want? Surely you want to play in front of these fans here at Old Trafford and not just play training games in an empty United stadium. He was absolutely breathtaking at times last night. Really showing you what a proper number 9 does. 2 goals, 2 assists. Made it look like nothing. 89% pass accuracy, 7 shots with 4 going on target. He also created 5 chances, 4 ball recoveries, and 1 a penalty. What a top performance. It was a vintage centre-forward performance last night from him, and long may he continue this fine run of form that he is in. Now he seems to be fully fit. He's going to be crucial. I'm almost ready to say that United are in a final. Almost ready to say it. And if Cavani's fit in that final, Manchester United will be Europa League champions of the world. I'm certain of it. I'm absolutely certain of it. He's now got 7 goals in his last 5 games with 5 goals and 2 assists, and 6 goals in his last 3 home games with 4 goals and 2 assists. Long may this continue. Number 3, Bruno's back to his best. There were growing murmurs. Bruno's not scored for, I think it was something like 16 games, not scored an outfield goal for, something along those of. Some sections of the fan base really getting into him and saying, oh, he's... No one's allowed to go through a bad patch anymore, are they? People forget Robin Van Persie went for a period of time without scoring a goal. It's happened to every single player everywhere, to be honest. No one's perfect. Bruno Fernandes is going through the only sort of dry-ish spell that he's had at United, still putting up sensational numbers. But last night he started to remind people what he's capable of. Like Cavani, he got 2 goals and 2 assists, 78% pass completion, 8 chances created. 7 ball recoveries, and he took 5 shots with 3 of them being on target. It feels like if you can pick one of several ridiculous stats about Bruno Fernandes' numbers after last night, but he's now been directly involved in 12 goals in 12 European knockout games for Manchester United. That's 8 goals and 4 assists. Yeah, it's the Europa League, but so what? The fact that someone could go and win a trophy like the Europa League or like the League Cup, because it isn't the Champions League and the league, granted. But Solskjaer hasn't won that. A lot of this team haven't won that. And getting that trophy down is something that needs to be done. And, you know, anyone that can contribute 4 goals to a game from midfield is a bloody good footballer. Bruno Fernandes is a bloody good footballer. And doing it in the semi-final, yeah. No, I'm well up for that. I'm having that. In at number 4, Pogba produced when it matters. Paul Pogba, arguably unfairly, conceded the first half penalty, which drew Roma level and gave them a little bit of an impetus. And that's probably the only sort of blight on his copybook for last night. He was sensational in every other aspect. He started off brilliantly, using his strength, using the skill that he's got, played a big part in the opener, then found himself on a score sheet in the second half. Pogba won 100% of his tackles last night, 78% pass accuracy, won 10 duels, 5 out of 6 attempted long balls, 4 of his attempted take-ons, drew 4 fouls and made 3 ball recoveries. In fact, I think it'd go as far to say as Pogba's performance last night was sensational. He ranked first or joint first in duels won, successful take-ons, foul drawn, and tackles on the night. Especially that performance, but the thought of losing him and Cavani in one summer, knowing this board will not even think about trying to replace them like for like with quality, hurts. I'm becoming increasingly sure that United need to keep hold of Pogba and need to just throw whatever we can at him to keep him. If he wants to play his football at Old Trafford, I don't think he would sign it. No matter how much money you threw at him, I don't think he would sign it if he doesn't want to be here. So if he does sign it, then it's because he wants to be it. So I want him to sign it. I want him and Cavani at Old Trafford next year. Because if you can add to that, because it's essentially free to extend both of those. If you can add to that someone on the right wing, maybe a really world-class number 6 behind him, you don't need to sign another striker this summer. You could maybe invest into the defence. Manchester United could be a force. And at number 5 then, 1 foot in Gdansk. Come on, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. It'd take a sensational collapse from Manchester United to go out of the competition now. And I'm not sure you're going to see a 4-goal swing, I don't think, in Rome. And if United go and score 1 or 2 goals, it becomes an absolute monster of a job, doesn't it? As it stands, it'll be Villarreal who await us in Gdansk, and now United can place all of our focus on the upcoming league games and nail down that second place in the league for what could have ended up being a quite productive season. We should have stayed in the Champions League. If we'd have had our shooting boots on against Paris, we'll have dealt that blow to them, and it could have been us in a semi-final against Manchester City. And seeing how Ole copes with Pep Guardiola, that could have been Manchester United going into a final. We might not be suited to play every team, but there's some teams we are suited to play. And I think if we'd have found Manchester City in the Champions League, it seems like Ole's got his number and we'd have found a way through. But that's not the way the cookie crumbled. Second place in the league is as good as we can do this season. I think anyone would agree. We're a mile off City. The league doesn't usually lie. But picking up the Europa League as well as coming second, progress you cannot deny. Progress you cannot deny. We've got Liverpool this weekend. Then we've got Aston Villa and Leicester. United are entering a tough run of games, but I would prefer that than just tossing it off for 3 or 4 weeks before you have the final. I think keep the players sharp, keep them mentally there, keep them fighting for a place in the final, importantly. And let's get those flights to Poland booked. Manchester United have 1 foot in a final. 1 foot in a final in Europe. 1 foot for this team, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, to start picking up some silverware. So let's get it done. Let's get it done. I'm confident we can beat Villarreal in a final. I'm confident we can go to Rome and finish the job without minimum of fuss. I'm confident we can see through the end of the season in second place. And I think all of us would have to say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with the shortest pre-season, because of the longest season that you had last year, the most intense run of games, 51 games of a midweek game, the shortest run over Christmas in between games. You're missing Pogba for large parts of it. Tony Marshall's been all over the place. You've had form issues with Mason Greenwood. You had issues with Cavani getting in and settling because of COVID restrictions. Everything that's been against him this season, he's ridden. And if he comes out with silverware at the end of it, he deserves backing in the summer. And not just from the board, but for some of you fuckers that are still on the fence about him. So it's not done yet, but I am going to be looking at booking a flight later on. Cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.